Labor of Love: The Invention of Dating by Moira Weigel is a cultural and historical exploration of modern dating, examining how the concept of dating, as we know it, evolved, what forces shaped it, and the ways social, economic, and technological changes have influenced romantic relationships over the past century. By looking at various stages in the evolution of dating, Weigel offers insight into how dating has been shaped by capitalism, social norms, and gender roles, and how people's desires, behaviors, and expectations of romance have shifted over time. Here's a detailed synopsis of the book's main themes, ideas, and structure. Introduction and core themes: Weigel starts with the premise that dating, meeting, and courting someone outside the bounds of formal arrangements like marriage is a relatively recent social invention, one that didn't exist as a distinct concept until the late 19th century. As she explains, what we understand as dating today has been largely molded by economic pressures, social trends, and cultural shifts, each leaving its mark on the ways people approach romance and companionship. A key argument in Labor of Love is that the development of dating mirrors changes in the job market and economic structures, as well as shifting views on gender roles, autonomy, and sexuality. Weigel uses this foundation to unpack how dating practices evolve in response to external forces, suggesting that dating isn't only a labor of love but also a form of work, especially for women. Historical evolution of dating: Weigel explores the history of dating by dividing it into several key periods, each marked by a major shift in the social landscape. The rise of dating in the early 20th century. In the early 1900s, dating emerged as a way for young people to explore romance outside the strict supervision of their families. Moving away from courtship that focused on marriage, dating took on a social function where people could explore relationships in a less formalized, more experimental setting. The rise of urbanization, with people moving to cities for work, created opportunities for interactions away from home, giving birth to dating as a casual social activity. Here, Weigel discusses how, from the beginning, dating was influenced by economic factors as women and men navigated public spaces like dance halls, movie theaters, and amusement parks. Dating and the economic boom. During the 1920s, the dating market grew, with young people increasingly expected to spend money on entertainment and appearance in order to participate. The 1920s also brought about more liberal attitudes towards sexuality and a focus on the dating economy, with the expectation that men would pay for dates. Weigel highlights how dating became performative, where men and women advertised themselves to attract partners, aligning romantic pursuits with consumer culture. In the 1930s and 1940s, economic hardship from the Great Depression and then World War II led to a change in dating dynamics. With many men overseas, dating took on a patriotic dimension, and women were encouraged to write letters and develop relationships with soldiers. This period also solidified dating's ties to economic stability, with the promise of marriage seen as an escape from poverty. The post-war era and going steady. After World War II, dating shifted again. The booming economy of the 1950s encouraged stable family structures, and dating culture reflected this, with the concept of going steady. Young people were now expected to pair off early and exclusively, aiming toward marriage as quickly as possible. Weigel notes that this period normalized the couple as the ideal relationship form, creating pressure to conform to the norms of monogamy and lifelong commitment. The sexual revolution and new freedoms. The 1960s marked a radical shift with the sexual revolution, giving rise to more experimental attitudes towards sex and relationships. Dating became less focused on marriage and more on personal satisfaction and freedom, fueled by the widespread availability of birth control and shifting gender dynamics. During this time, feminist movements questioned traditional gender roles in dating, giving women greater autonomy and allowing for more diverse expressions of sexuality. Dating, however, was still largely transactional, with both men and women investing time, money, and effort, though the balance of power began to shift. The rise of technology and online dating. The digital age brought transformative changes to dating. In the 1990s, online dating started to become more common, first through matchmaking websites and later, with the rise of smartphones, through dating apps. This new technology fundamentally changed how people met, bringing efficiency to the dating market while simultaneously commodifying human connection. Weigel discusses how online dating amplifies the consumerist nature of dating, with apps often presenting potential partners as products that can be bought and sold with the swipe of a finger. Modern dating also reflects neoliberal values, with people encouraged to view themselves as brands, optimizing their profiles to appeal to the widest audience. The pressure to perform on these platforms, maintaining a curated and idealized version of oneself, is another form of labor, especially for women, who are often expected to invest more time in their appearance and presentation. Gender roles and the labor of love. Weigel argues that dating has always been more work for women than for men, with women traditionally expected to spend more time and resources to make themselves attractive partners. This expectation dates back to the early days of dating and persists in today's digital dating culture. Dating is labor-intensive, not just in terms of appearance, but also in emotional investment, with women often taking on the role of caretakers in relationships. The concept of emotional labor comes into play here, as women are often tasked with the work of maintaining and nurturing relationships. Weigel shows how this labor is largely unrecognized and unappreciated, yet it is essential to the functioning of relationships. She connects these ideas with a broader feminist critique of unpaid labor, noting that dating often involves hidden costs and sacrifices, especially for women. Capitalism, consumerism, and dating. Weigel explores how capitalism and consumerism drive dating culture, especially in the way people commodify themselves and their time in the dating market. Dating is often depicted as a series of transactions, with people exchanging resources to find companionship or love. Weigel critiques this view, showing how it pressures people to constantly optimize themselves for the market, leading to a sense of alienation and dissatisfaction. Dating apps have intensified this commodification, making the search for love feel more like shopping. These apps capitalize on people's desire for connection, and they generate profit from the emotional labor of users. Weigel notes that while dating apps promise efficiency, they also often lead to burnout, as people are caught in cycles of swiping, matching, and messaging with little to show for it. Conclusion: the future of dating and love. In her conclusion, Weigel offers a reflection on the future of dating, considering whether technology might continue to commodify relationships or if new ways of connecting might emerge. She leaves open the possibility that despite all of the challenges, people's desire for genuine connection will ultimately lead them toward more meaningful relationships. Weigel's overall message is both critical and hopeful. She invites readers to question the roles they play in dating, to recognize dating as labor, and to think about what kind of relationships they want to build in a world where romance and consumerism are increasingly intertwined. By analyzing dating as a social institution shaped by economic forces and cultural expectations, Labor of Love encourages readers to be more intentional in their romantic lives, resisting the pressures to conform to a transactional model of dating and instead focusing on authentic connection. Final thoughts. Labor of Love is a thought-provoking analysis of modern romance, blending cultural criticism with historical research to reveal how dating is much more than a personal pursuit. It's a reflection of societal forces and economic pressures. Moira Weigel's work invites readers to think critically about their own dating experiences and to recognize how cultural and economic systems shape even the most intimate aspects of their lives. Ultimately, Weigel offers a framework for understanding the struggles and contradictions of dating in the modern age, while also leaving room for hope that people can transcend these pressures in the pursuit of true connection and love.